Asher and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio. I'm very excited about our next guest because there's not only some exciting news, but I just think he's like one of the coolest in the industry. So let's welcome to the show, Michael Graves. How are you?
I'm good, Pipeman. How are you?
I'm doing good. So very exciting that you signed to E.A.R VMG and distributed by Virgin Music Group, and you're announcing a spring tour, God Bless America Tour 2026. So I'm going to start right there. I want to know what that means to you, because everybody puts their own meaning to things, and to me, this is the best America type of thing I've heard in I don't know how long.
Well, I've been back and forth across the country so many times, and the country's not only beautiful, you know, as I'm looking out the window and all the different places I get to go and see, but the people itself. And I was thinking, how can I express, you know, the majesty and the beauty of everything that I see when I'm out there, including, like I said, the people and the interactions that I have and just the whole thing. And I started thinking about the anniversary of the country coming up in July, and I wanted it to be called, something positive, something wonderful, and so I called it God Bless America Tour.
That's why I love the positive part, you know, and it is true. I think a lot of people don't even realize, you know, when you drive across this whole country, there is so much to see and so much majestic stuff and so many different, I'll even say cultures. You know, to me, going to each state is like going to a different country.
Sure. There is. There's so much. There's so many different things to experience and see. That again, when I find myself saying, "Geez, God bless America. This is amazing." And you're right. There's so many different things to see. I mean, from the oceans to the mountains to the flatness of the middle of the country. It's just amazing. We live in a really wonderful place.
Totally. And, you know, listen, I grew up in Jersey. I was born in New York, but grew up in Jersey. My dad moved me to L.A. in 1980. What a wild time to move to L.A. And now I live in South Florida. And I can say, honestly, that all three places are so totally different. And there's cool aspects of them all. And even the people are different, you know. And I find, like, there's people like my ex-wife, her grandfather never left his street his whole life, much less the town. And I think everybody needs to get out there and just see how other people live, how other people's environments are. And the difference is, I think we would get along a lot better by understanding where we're all from.
Yeah, I love that trend. I think it was maybe before the pandemic. Remember the trend that was happening where there were all of these, you know, the influencers and they would, right, and they would go in the vans and they would have like their van life and they would blog and send videos. And it was a really cool sort of revival of that wanderlust that so many people, you know, that I guess in more in like the 60s and the 70s, I think there was, you know, a lot of people that would they would hitchhike across the country. They would they would just go out. Yeah, I've always had a wanderlust. So, but yeah, I think that you're right. I think that there's something very human about moving around like that and getting out of the bubble of your life. It's really does something positive.
Totally. And I also want to talk about something that I think is really cool about you that maybe most people don't even think of, because I'll even talk about, it was very funny. I saw something today. It's funny that happened today interviewing you, because I saw this posting on Nextdoor, which is this community app that I don't find it very much of a community app. I find it like pretty negative. So this person comes on, they take a picture of somebody who has this shirt on, and it looked like it could have been, it was hard to tell because it was blurry, like from Nightmare Before Christmas, because it was like this skull with a Santa hat on and a Christmas tree. And she just started going off on this person, and now they must be demonic and blah, blah, blah. And I even remember being in high school and wearing like my hot Ozzy Diary of a Madman shirt, and people coming up to me, including my own cousin, like, "You're a devil worshiper."
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, you're just an idiot, because it's just a skull. It's the meaning you put to it. But like, even Ozzy, he wore crosses all the time. He was a devout Christian, you know? And so I love that you have this same message, and that's how this whole, you know, collaboration, I'm going to call it, you signing, you know, came about, because you have this strong Christian positive message. And I want to make sure people out there know about that, because if they think of like old school Misfits, they might think something different. And it's just entertainment. It's not, you know, anything beyond that, in my opinion.
You look at my lyrics and my content that I've put out all the way back into the Misfits. If you really start to kind of take it apart, you'll all of a sudden you start to see the Christian message, or the positive message that is in there. And you're right, you know. And I've gotten a lot of pushback too over the years from you know, people like that, like the people that you just described, like, oh, how can you love Jesus, or how can you have this, you know, this Christian perspective, and your face is a skull and all, you know, the images that you use, you know, and the way that the filter that we use, or that I use in the, whether it's Misfits or Michael Graves, and many, you know, when I'm singing about fallen worlds or angels or the darkness or all these things, like you said, it doesn't necessarily make it demonic. As well, you know, for me, why would I, you know, put out images or go to places where there are already, you know, believers? Like, that's like walking into a church full of believers and trying to convince them of something that they've already believe.
What a
like,
great point.
If we're fishers of men, we've already caught them, you know, they're already believers. Well, then who's going to go out to these kids that they're not going to listen to anybody that's going to roll up on them with the, you know, the blouses on, or the loafers, and hello, you know, let me tell you about Jesus. That's just not going to get anywhere. You know, that's not going to get anybody in the door. I do it a different way.
I love it. That's so smart, though. I mean, I think about it like you had me have a flashback of one day I had like Slayer blasting through my guitar amplifier, and I had my Ozzy shirt on, and I get a knock on the door, and it's the Jehovah's Witnesses. And as a teenager being funny, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell them, yeah, I'm a devil worshiper. No, thank you. But like that, what you just said reads right into it, because I was not going to listen to these people knocking on my door. Okay.
Yeah. Just not right. Yeah. And the kids that need it, you know, in music, and this kind of place that I come from in music, there are a lot of young people who are lost, who are hurt. There's a lot of substance abuse. There's mental abuse. There's all sorts of things that in my opinion, that faith in God and knowing Jesus could really, you know, can help and changes people's lives. And again, you know, Mr. Flanders walking around with his Bible. These kids are going to eat him alive. You know? You got Michael Graves hanging out with you, talking to him. It's a different The difference.
No doubt, no doubt. Like, I would have thrown Flanders into a mosh pit.
Dude, yeah, me too. Me too.
You know? And so, and it's funny too, because like I think of certain things like that all the time. That's why I love your message and you as a role model, because like, you take Tom Arroyo, Slayer, he's a total Christian, and a lot of music that sounds like devil music is really talking against the devil. It's just because it's loud and heavy, it must be demonic, you know, type of thing.
Yeah, and it's reflecting the darkness, the bad, all of the bad that's in the world. It's reflecting back the world. It doesn't necessarily pin it or start to pipe in demons. It's just the opposite. How can we... We're supposed to know that world. We're supposed to understand that world. And the more you show that world, the easier it is to talk about the light. You got to understand the darkness to give the light, for the light to shine through and to have it be more understood.
That is so true. I love it. So what is it that keeps you going in music here all these years later?
My desire to get to people, and do exactly what I'm doing. I love music. Obviously, I love creating music and performing, but I love the interactions with the people. Like I said, I've come across people. You know, I hear a lot of stories about, again, loss and hurt and all of these things that the world brings out of us. So I continue the music the way that I do because from the time I remember, I've always felt my duty was to serve people, to help people, to be a light in the world. Quick story, I was an EMT for a bunch of years, and I started to walk away from music a bit, and I would pray a lot, like, Lord, I'll go where you want me to go. I'll do what you want me to do. Is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this where you want me to go? One day I got a call and I responded to a man who tried to commit suicide. He stepped in front of a train. It didn't kill him. It just busted him up real bad. And the whole, you know, we packaged him up, got him in the ambulance. And I remember, you know, silently praying again, like, God is like, I don't like seeing people bust up. I'm a really good medic, heavy rescue trained, responded to more calls than I can remember. But it clicked in my mind, whether it was God talking to me or whatever. I remember saying, I want to get to people before they step in front of that train. Yeah. And that was a very profound thought in my mind. And after that, I redoubled my efforts and dedicated myself to music. I want to get to people before they step in front of the train, man. That's what
There it is. I love it. And, you know, it's funny. You're telling this story, and I think of, like, George Foreman. And he got knocked out by Ali, and then he became a minister, and he thought he shouldn't be boxing as a minister, and then he came back and won the heavyweight championship once again. So, and that here you are. You're going to be touring. I love it, and I'm so glad that you're putting out, you know, some positive energy and music for us all together so we can change some lives, because I think we need it now more than ever.
Amen. I believe I believe that as well.
Well, thank you, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks, Pipeman. Hi, this is Michael Graves, and you are watching the Pipeman Show on W4CY Radio.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, and more. Aftershock, October 1st through 4th. Passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down at AftershockFestival.com.
You're listening to The Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Stay
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and we have a very special guest here. We have Mike Odd, and he's the manager of MacSabbath, who's going to be playing here locally at Respectable Street, one of my favorite venues in the area. Like, I tour all over the country, all over UK and Europe, because I hate going to places in South Florida. But I love Respectable Street, man. And as soon as I saw that they were playing there, I'm like, oh my God, that's great. I'm going to be in town. I'm going.
Nice. So, the Pipeman live
at Respectable Street, where I think you guys are going to like set records there of like just turning the place into total mayhem.
I think so.
So here's what I really want to know. Forget all the other bullshit. I want to hear some stories of what it's like to manage these oddballs.
Well, it's difficult. You know, I'm dealing with a time-traveling clown. Ronald Osborne insists that he goes back and forth from this in this wormhole from the 1970s, and he rejects all modern technology. So as a manager of a rock band in 2022 or whatever it is, what year is it? I always go 19 that's definitely where he's at. He's stuck in this realm of the 1970s and reject. If I try to say, we should probably do a stream or a MP3 or something like that, you're going to get a pie in your face, or seltzer water, squirted all over you or something. He gets angry and rejects it and confused. And so this is what I'm dealing with. So instead of being on like Spotify or something, I have like, a LP that comes in a pop-up book or a flexi disc that comes in a coloring book. He's very focused on very tangible stuff that you can touch, and likes to make things that the kids enjoy because he's trying to get the message out to younger people about, fast food being evil. So, yeah.
Well,
I'm dealing.
I'm a little upset though, because like I was hoping you would say, I used to have that other band, I used to have the BS band. I used to have them on 8-track. So I was hoping you have some 8 tracks I could get.
You can say Black Sabbath, by the way. That's perfectly fine.
Be careful.
I have several Black Sabbath 8 tracks as we speak.
Nice.
Yeah, I have gone and done the 8-track thing a bit, and that's fun, and it resonates for me. There's something about that drag that has this kind of old-timey, like formative feeling for me. So, and I have actually looked into trying to get 8 tracks made for MacSabbath because I think it would please Ronald, and I think that it would look really good on the merch table, and maybe 1 or 2 people would buy one.
I would definitely buy one. I don't even have an 8-track player anymore, but I would buy one. I've been like, it's the only thing I ever got rid of. And I'm like, man, I wish I still had my 8-track.
And it's fun. It's fun shopping for 8 tracks on eBay because, like, if you're buying Black Sabbath, it's going to run you like, it's going to run you like, $40 or something. $40-$50 if you can find the 8 tracks, but you can get Barbara Mandrell for like 5 cents. So
wow.
It all depends on what you like.
But do they actually give you like a free matchbook with every 8-track? Because that's a necessary tool to play the 8-track.
Right. Right.
You
It's
got
like
you,
yeah.
got to put it under there to get it at the right speed. Nowadays, you have this button on Spotify that could be 1 times, 2 times, 5 times. We needed a matchbook in order to do that technology.
Absolutely.
I think you should get some for the Respectable Street Show. I'll promote the shit out of everybody. They can't listen to my show anymore unless they buy a MacSabbath 8-track.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure though that you take one of the songs and split it like in the middle of 2 tracks. Where
Chunk.
like I remember on Blizzard of Oz, Mr. Crowley would fade out in the middle, change tracks, and then fade back in. I miss those days,
It's like young people are so confused watching this right now.
I know, right? So, have you?
But they might actually, like you said, they might actually buy them, even though they didn't. Right now, I'm actually talking to this skateboard company, and I'm like about doing a skateboard deck, and I'm like, well, Ronald's gonna want this old-fashioned 70s shape. Can you do that? And they're like, yeah. I go, but you guys would probably know what would sell better, because maybe that's not going to sell because the kids ride these modern skateboard shapes. And he goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, most of the people who buy the skateboard decks are just going to put them on their wall. They're not
no.
Put trucks on there.
Right?
I was like, what?
Well, to be fair, I have 3 skateboards that I use. Okay. But if I bought a deck like a MacSabbath deck, I wouldn't want to fuck up that deck riding on it. Like, Jesus, my skateboards look like they've been through World War III.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it'd be people who don't skateboard will buy them, put them on their wall, and then people who skateboard will buy them, and some of them will put them on their wall, and some of them will ride them. I guess there's 3 different categories or something. I don't know. I bought one of those Devo decks. That's the 5 red hats,
Yeah.
Together, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna, just keep it or put trucks on it. And then it came, and it doesn't even have the holes drilled in it.
They say, no, you're not gonna put trucks on it.
Ride this thing,
but look, see, that would be the one to ride, because depending on your size, you would know where to put your feet. So is this the kind of fun we're gonna have at Respectable Street?
Oh, it's gonna be beyond this, if you can imagine that.
Like, can you describe to our listeners that have never experienced this what they can expect at a MacSabbath show?
This is why it's hard being the manager of MacSabbath, because it's really hard to describe. I mean, you can say the obvious thing, which is that it's these, mutated fast food mascots playing these Black Sabbath songs. But the twist is that it's like Ronald says, he's come from he's traveled into the future to save us all from the current state of music and food, and teach us about how how the drive-through is evil, and so is auto-tune, I guess, something like that.
Like not only auto-tune, but I even have somebody on my station that does a show that started creating music with AI. They don't have a talented bone in their body as far as that goes, but like an AI song, like that's getting a little ridiculous, if you ask me, man. I mean, you need talent. There's plenty of business bullshit out there. You need talent.
This is the thing about Ronald. Like, from the beginning, it's like, okay, he's insane. He's rattling on about these possible future outcomes and dangers and blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, I just write it off, like when he screams and yells about Cinnabon Jovi or KFC DeVille taking the food out of his mouth or something. He's kind of paranoid, as no pun intended. You know what I mean? So I just kind of write all this off. But now, 13 years later, I'm like, I remember him talking about these robot dogs and like completely automated robot burger places and all these horrible things that would happen with technology if we're not careful. And now we have robots replacing rock and roll musicians. Maybe it's time to actually listen to this weirdo. I don't know.
I think so. I mean, pretty prophetic, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So I think I have a couple ideas for you guys too. Okay. One isn't really an idea. It's more of a question that I should probably know the answer to, but I don't. Have you guys ever done like a tour with MacSabbath? Because that would be kind of a fun tour right there.
It's funny. There's an interview out there with Zach where the interviewer mentions us, and I guess his response was, "Oh yeah, they're great. I'd love to tour with them," or something. And then the title of the interview is Zach says he'd love to tour with MacSabbath or something. I'm sure he was delighted about that this guy, because this guy who's interviewing him is obviously like a MacSabbath fan, so he's like, totally
wow.
Like item as far as I'm concerned. I felt bad.
Well, I got a story similar to that. So I have over 3,000 interviews. The interview that really like every publication picked up and it went viral was with somebody I'm actually interviewing again next week, but it was with Carmine Apiece. And he said in the interview, I don't even remember how it came up, but he said, yeah, I don't think Black Sabbath was the originators of heavy metal. Metallica was.
What?
And people went insane, okay? Okay, so I was at Metallica's first show ever. I used to hang out with them.
Okay.
They would never say that, okay?
And super influenced by Black Sabbath.
No doubt. And come on, like Tony Iommi getting into, having that accident and, creating a new sound is what
heavy metal, and it changes the way you play guitar to the certain thing that becomes heavy metal. I think that's pretty much solidified.
I would think so too. And no shade whatsoever, because he's a great dude. I'm just saying how people reacted. They reacted just the same way you reacted. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because you're more of an expert, because you're the manager of MacSabbath, so you might know a little bit about that.
Well, him and his brother can't even decide how their last name is pronounced. So you got.
It's funny you should say that, because every time I say one of them, I'm like thinking to myself, which which way do I pronounce it this time?
You got to take that into account,
Oh my God, I better not put this interview out till after the next interview.
Yeah, you can cut that out, right? No. Carmine, Vinny, we love you both.
Oh no, totally cool.
Pronounce your name.
I think they should just come up with a universal pronunciation that's nothing like the ones they are now. Like, they both have the same pronunciation. It doesn't even sound like their name.
Right.
Or maybe one of them could be Vanilla Sea, and the other one could be Black Sea, or then you know which one's which. Just
Anyway,
saying.
so I think your question 10 minutes ago was, what is it like seeing a MacSabbath show? So it's an arena size rock show crammed onto a stage. So it's sort of this big theatrical experience that's spilling over into the audience. And it's interesting because it's like wicked and metal, but it's still clean enough for kids because he wants the message to go to the kids. It's got this, anti-fast food message, but that you have to like dig into the lyrics for that. It doesn't come off preachy. It's really fun and over the top and hilarious and frightening all at the same time. And he's flipping burgers off a smoking grill while he's singing. And there's like giant inflatable burgers bouncing around on the audience, and he's doing like birthday party magic while he's singing, and it's just it's a amazing show. It's a lot more than a rock band. It's like it's really hard to explain. Every person that's ever seen the show that's talked to me, whether it be for the first time, whether it be a fan or an agent or a promoter, or they all say the same thing to me. They go, we saw it online, but we had no idea what it was, and we did not know it was going to be like this. So it really packs a big surprise. It's really something that you have to see live.
Absolutely. And I just want to say to everybody, maybe you're not in the West Palm Beach area. That's cool. There's other shows you can go to. There's even other shows in Florida, which is amazing because it's like we live in Florida. We have to drive 4 hours to go to a show because we're only going to this town, and that's it. You know, and so you'll be in West Palm, but you'll also be in Tampa and Winter Park. So West Palm's on the 10th of this month, April 9th is Tampa, and April 11th is
busy for about a week. We're doing the Monsters of Rock cruise out of Miami too.
Yeah, there you go. That's how much fun are those cruises to do?
This is the third one we've done. It's really amazing. Speaking of Zach, Black Label Society is playing. So maybe
you can make it happen there on the cruise. Like,
there you go.
This impromptu. Now I'm promoting that people need to, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet to Monsters of Rock, you need to go there in case this happens, because it could be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, it's funny. You read the article and it makes it seem like, MacSabbath and Zach Sabbath might tour together. But the funny thing is we have this coming up with that Zach band, and then we're playing on the Pantera stage at Louder Than Life, which is
nice.
So basically we're playing with every band that Zach has but Zach Sabbath, which might be better for redundancy as far as like hearing all the same songs all night long, I suppose.
Right. And I'll be at Louder Than Life. I do that one every year. I love that festival. That's going to be a blast for sure. Yeah. And so I have one final question too. Okay. Because you were mentioning all the things that are done on stage. If I brought my grandkids, now mind you, one of my grandkids that is into metal and punk is just turned 15. So, I'm just being clear that it ain't like no 2-year-old, but if I bring my grandkids, will Ronald throw out some toys to the kids like when we get them this horrible crap we get them?
Not normally, but if you contact me, maybe I can hook something like that up,
Yeah, see, but I don't mean just for my grandkids. I just mean in general, you could have like the MacSabbath terrible toy thing or something. I don't know.
I like it. It.
See?
Terrible Toys for Tots.
Yeah, there it is. That's perfect. I love it. That could be your next tour.
I like it.
Do you have a final words you want to say to the listeners?
Stay hungry. I mean, if you're choosing between the drive-through and real food, stay hungry till you can get to the real food.
And
Yeah.
everybody check out MacSabbath if you haven't checked it out yet. And you got to go see the live show. It is an experience.
Stole that from Wendy Schneider.
Say that again?
So I feel like I might have stole that line from Wendy Schneider. Never mind.
Maybe. We'll let that slide. Well, thanks a lot, Mike. It certainly was an odd interview.
The Pipeman.
Right?
Nice. Yes, that's a blast. We had a great time.
We'll see you on
Carmine and their pronunciation of their name. I never thought I'd have that conversation on the radio.
What about somebody's name? Yeah. Well, see, you never know. That's why maybe my last name is odd too. So I'm like the odd pipe man. Not the odd couple, but
the odd pipe man on W4CY radio.
You got it perfect. I love it.
Some mics are better than other at this,
It might be. And I can't wait till April 10th to be there at Respectable Street and dodging all of the burgers flying at me.
I'll see you there, bud.
Later.
Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival returns this summer with Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Bad Omens, plus Gojira, Papa Roach, A Day to Remember, Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, Cypress Hill, The Used, and so many more. Incarceration at the Ohio State Reformatory, July 17th to 19th. Passes on sale now at incarceration.com.
Hey, you're listening to the Adventure and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I am very excited about our next guest. Oh my God, we have a killer announcement here. First new album in 26 years. That's amazing. So let's welcome to the show Ben from Crimson Glory.
Hey, everybody.
So one thing I have to say right off the bat, the minute I started the interview, I was looking over your right shoulder and seeing that in the background. I'm like, man, that is so cool. I don't even know if I can focus on the interview. It is kind of cool. I want to get one for behind me when I do my interviews.
Yeah, why not?
Right? So I just want to say right off the bat, what makes you, after 26 years, wake up and decide, hey, let's put a new album out?
Well, I think we've really been missing it for a long time. Jeff and Dana and I, the three original guys, and we often think about the old times with Crimson Glory, and I think we've just been missing it, wanting to get back to it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Because I think about it. Even as somebody that's media, I go on tour and I do coverage of music festivals all over the US, UK, and Europe. And I couldn't imagine not doing that. Like, it's like people say to me, how do you do that? Or even my youngest daughter, I'll bring her to a festival with me one time, and it'll be like halfway through the first day of a 4-day festival. And she's like, Dad, I don't know how you do this every week. I'm already done. And I'm like, I would be depressed if I wasn't,
Yeah.
When I come home, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I just seclude.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love the lifestyle. I love being over there in Europe in the summer and playing the festivals and meeting all the people. I mean, it's such a, metal's such a lifestyle over there, such a brotherhood.
Totally. And I just did media coverage at a festival not last week, 2 weeks ago, that I believe you played at last year, Hell's Heroes.
Yeah, that was a great one. We had a great time there in Houston.
You know
awesome
what?
festival.
I had so much fun at that festival.
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
old school to me. Okay,
Yeah,
like it was so funny because you know as teenage years I was like on the Sunset Strip and Troubadour and Country Club in LA and that whole scene, and it reminded me of that. Like opposed to nowadays, it's very kind of different. But even the
yeah.
fact that okay, so I was interviewing Tankard in the trailer, and I ended up like missing a bunch of the sets for the rest of the night because we did the interview, and then after that, he's like, "Oh, we didn't even bring a roadies with us or anybody. Can you come
Yeah.
take pictures up on stage with us?"
Oh,
And
yeah. I see.
and then after we're done, they're like, "Hey, come on back. We'll hang out." And
Yeah.
like it was like that kind of cool vibe because that's what metal
Well,
is. We're just one big family of cool people.
and they're a bunch of German beer drinkers, so that was
Uh,
probably a blast hanging out with them.
oh yeah. Oh my god. Like I kept on handing them beers while we are on stage. Like I'm
Yeah.
holding the camera in one hand, beer in the other.
They
And
love their beer as much as they love their metal in Germany.
oh, I'm telling you that I remember during the interview, they were like complaining because
Yeah,
there wasn't enough beer in the fridge. Meanwhile, there was a fridge full of beer. And they're like, we'll be done with that before we even go on stage.
that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Fun times, fun times. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you, too, I've listened to your latest song coming off the, brand new album. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna be blunt. Oh my fucking god! Like that brought me back to the '80s. Like I just felt like, oh my god, I haven't heard music like that in a long time.
Yeah, I think people have been missing music like that.
Right? You know,
Yeah.
I find a lot of metal nowadays, the newer metal, they use like this formula. I call it an algebraic equation to make metal. And it wasn't like that back in the beginning and back in
Yeah.
the 80s, 70s, 80s. It was like, it was all experimental and all new. So even if you were within the same genre of another band, you didn't sound anything like them a lot of the times.
Yeah, true. Everybody had their own kind of style, their own identity as far as the sound of the band.
Yeah, totally. So what I want to know is I'm always in awe of artists like you that can come out all these years later and create new music. Like I think to myself, how do they keep coming up with stuff to talk about? And like there is a lot to talk about out there, but how about you? What's the difference now of trying to write a song compared to when you were a teenager trying to write a song?
Not much difference. I think we've gotten better at it over the years. We've matured a little bit, got a little smarter and wiser. So some of the topics, they grow from cooler, you know, aspects of things to talk, to write about.
And, thank God you get a little better because if you've been doing this for most of your life, if you didn't get better, that would be a problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think
I,
we've progressed.
I think that is the case. I think artists even sometimes look at it differently than the fans, like, especially if they're fans from the beginning. Okay. Because the fans from the beginning, they want you to stay a garage band. I was one of those people too. There are bands I
Yeah,
saw that are huge now that I saw their first show ever. And I'm like, why aren't they like that now?
yeah,
But I could also see the other side that why would the artist want to be like that now? Like, you mean you didn't evolve? You didn't get better at your craft? Like, you didn't even know what you were doing in the beginning,
yeah.
So,
I
why
agree
wouldn't
with
you
you.
want it? You know?
Yeah.
S- So, tell me one story, good or bad, crazy or not, in this whole musical career that you've had that you'll never forget that you would tell people till the day you're not here.
One story, good or bad. I remember one funny story when we played the Hammersmith Odeon in London. and it was, kind of a dream of ours to play there because I remember seeing like, Michael Schenker group live from there and just other stuff like that when I was a young teen. And when we got over there and got the chance to play there, we're like, wow, we're playing the Hammersmith. So a little bit before we were going to go on stage, they said, okay, it's time to go. And we started walking from the dressing room area through all these halls to find the stage. And we just got lost in the maze of halls back there. And we just could not find the stage. We kept going down this hallway and turning around, going back, and then going this way and turn around. That's not the way. We turn around, go back. And finally, after some crazy confusion, we found the stage.
Oh my God, that is funny. And probably people are out there like, where are they?
Yeah, and this was in '87. I think when we finally came out on stage, there was one point during the stage where Midnight came over and got underneath me. I suddenly realized I looked down and saw his head between my legs. He was underneath me on his knees and he was trying to lift me up on his shoulders to carry me around the stage, kind of like Bon Scott used to do with Angus Young. And Midnight tried to lift me up, and didn't have very much luck. He got me up a few inches, and he just gave up and back out, and just took off running across the stage. It was like a brief attempt to lift me on his shoulders that he gave up really quickly on. Because
Right?
Midnight was kind of a small guy. He wasn't the guy that was going to be carrying anybody around on his shoulders.
That's what I'm
But
saying. I'm a small dude, and I'm listening to that. I'm like, yeah, it
but
looks
something
like it's
came
pretty
over him.
cool. Yeah.
Something came over him in the spur of the excitement. He thought he would try to do it.
Oh my God. Just
So
like
that
I
was
even look at Ozzy when he used to pick up Randy Rhoads. I'm thinking now, I think of later Ozzy. I'm like,
yeah. Well,
how did he
Randy was so
do that?
tiny back then.
I know, right?
But yeah,
Exactly.
that's two funny things that happened to us on the same night.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about the new album from your perspective as the artist.
Well, this is something going into it. We really wanted to try to touch back on the creative style of Transcendence because we know it's kind of the favorite album of most of the fans, and so we wanted to write songs that sort of reflected that the styling of it all. But again, like we talked about a minute ago, we've kind of matured, we've grown, we've progressed at what we do, so we're not exactly the same band. The album I think has a lot more of a progressive nature to it than the early two albums, and a little bit more modern sounding, more different time signatures and more different twists in the songs. But it does really capture the overall essence of I think the first and second album, more so Transcendence. So I hope the fans are happy about that. We just had a blast making this record. They're all brand new ideas we came up with in the last 3 years, and nothing's really left over from the old days, which maybe you were going to ask about that. But yeah, everything's pretty fresh, you
I
know,
love it.
very fresh within 3 years. Jeff Lords wrote a lot of the songs, a lot of the music, and I co-wrote a couple of the songs, came up with some riffs and parts for some of the songs. And Travis was a big writer on the record, lyrics and melodies as well. So
That was the question. That was the question I was going to ask is like,
yeah,
what do you think has changed for creating this new music by having Travis and Mark in the band now? Like I always think that when you have that kind of transformation that there's going to be some new things added to the artillery.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Travis is a really good writer, and that's a plus, because Jeff writes lyrics, Dana writes lyrics, I write some, but I mean, having a singer that can really write and come up with some great melodies and lyrics, that's a big plus. And Travis can do that. He's great at it. And Midnight was great at that. And obviously there's only one Midnight. There will
Yeah.
only ever be one. But Travis came into this with a kind of a fresh approach and did some really cool, interesting, original things, as well as tipping the hat to Midnight a little bit here and there with some stylistic nuances. And then
Yeah.
talking about Mark, I mean, he's just a great fit for the band as well. He's a great player in his own right. John Drenning was fantastic, but Mark comes in with something different, a little unique to himself, and he created and wrote all his own solos for the record. He's a very creative guy.
Well, and I gotta say too, like, okay, what you said about Travis, I think it's important when a singer writes the lyrics because there's a different emotion that comes from it. You know, you're not
Hmm.
singing somebody else's feelings; you're singing your own.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do have to say too, like that was the other thing I was gonna ask is, man, how I can't even conceive of how after midnight, how you could possibly find such an awesome vocalist like Travis. Because I'll tell you what, that listening to him sing, I was like, oh my god, I don't even know anybody that can sing like that anymore.
Yeah, well, we certainly got lucky in finding Travis. He's a very unique and talented individual, so it's sure a blessing to have him with us.
Is there anything you want the listeners to know? Like, what would you want me to ask you? What would your answer be, like, that you want the listeners to know?
Well, I don't know. I never really think about the questions, what they should be towards me. But no, I just want the listeners to know that we really did strive to make a new Crimson Glory album that would make the fans happy, because we've always had such a long time connection with our fans, and they're so passionate about the band's music that the last thing we wanted to do was put out anything that would disappoint them. So we really, strive to make this record something that the fans would really get into. Of course, with an artist, any artist, you really have to please yourself before anybody else. So we write to please ourselves.
Yeah,
And but if we can do that, if we know we've written something that we think is good, then we're pretty sure everyone else is going to love it too.
I love what you just said because I'm a huge believer in that, and that shows you're a true musician. That right there, because true musicians write for themselves, and then
Yeah,
they attract their tribe,
yeah,
not the
yeah.
other way around.
Exactly. We want our fans to be really in love with the music, but we don't sit down and say, "Well, let's write a song. What do you think they would like?" I mean, no, we have to write what we think is great, what we like.
Totally,
Yeah.
100%. And you guys got a bunch of tour dates starting in May, and
Hmm.
oh my God, like, how honored are you after all these years to be playing Vakken? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a call you always want to get.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm very honored. Yeah, it's been a dream of mine to play that festival. We've played a lot of cool festivals over the years, but it's always been a dream to play Vakken. So the fact that we got invited this year is just totally awesome for all of us. We can't wait to be there.
And all your other dates, they're all in like some of my favorite places and some great festivals, and like
Yeah.
Alcatraz. That's a festival that you guys fit right into perfectly.
Yeah. And we played that one back in 2012 with Todd Latore. It's a very cool festival
Nice.
in
Well,
Belgium. Yeah.
I love that you have new music. It's badass. It's so killer that you're still around, and I thank you for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Right on. Thank you for having me. Great talking with you today.
My pleasure.
Hi, this is Ben Jackson of Crimson Glory, and you're listening to The Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
The Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.